Distracted driving is a serious issue. Different states have different ways of dealing with it. All across the nation, people are risking other drivers' lives for reasons that don't matter. We think the government should make one law for the whole nation.
At this very moment, right now, 11% of all drivers on the road are holding an electronic device. They're calling home on their cell phone, or they're reading text from a friend, or they're sending an email to their office on their BlackBerry, or they're looking up directions with a GPS system. That amounts to, please note, 812,000 distracted voters at any given moment. And those 812,000 drivers are not focused on the road. They're focused on their devices. And in this is much danger. They're putting their own lives at risk. That is their right. They're putting their passengers' lives at their risk. That is not their right. And the lives of everyone else on the road, which is not their right.
Distracted driving is something that bothers me because it takes away the focus of what you should be doing behind the wheel. It is something that contributes to a lot of disaster out there.
Distracted driving affects the economy in Indiana because I just mentioned there were 1,100 accidents. If there is a property damage or personal injury, those things have to be fixed, and so folks are going to be spending more money for insurance premiums. They're going to be spending more money for medical care, and that's going to drive the cost up for all the citizens of the state of Indiana.
Years ago, pretty much the accidents that were caused by distracted driving was somebody adjusting their radio or their heater controls, carrying on a conversation with somebody else in the car, or eating. Now, in just the last few years, with the advent of cell phones, you have people that are carrying on cell phone conversations in texting. Texting would require you to take your eyes away from the road periodically to both send and receive text messages. So in the last few years, I've been seeing an awful lot, an increase in distracted driving cases, mostly caused by cell phones and texting on cell phones.
I believe that distracted driving is an issue that needs to be taken a little bit more seriously. It's currently, as the way that it's written on the books, it's not a violation that can be stopped as a primary cause for a traffic stop. What I mean by that is, as I'm out patrolling, I have to have observed another reason for a stop, and then only a person less than 18 years of age can be cited for using a situation such as a cell phone or texting as a reason to write them a citation.
I think it goes across the board. I know the laws now focus on the younger people. I think that's good in a way. I think it goes across the board. I see people my age, people that are younger and older than me, beginners. They're all distracted. It's hard for me to pick out a particular age group because I see all of the young people and the older people.
I believe it's a big problem. We oftentimes see somebody in front of us, whether we're in our own car or I'm in my police car. You can tell they're texting or talking on the phone, and that's obviously affecting their driving. They're crossing the center line, or they're not seeing the full road. They're seeing the little screen they're looking at.
We worked several accidents, and I have worked one in particular where the primary cause of the accident was an individual talking on her cell phone. She was talking to her boyfriend. Her vehicle dropped off the right-hand side of the roadway. She overcorrected and went across the center lane and was hit by a semi, and unfortunately she was killed in that accident.
While she was on the phone, he heard the impact, and then the phone went dead. So he called 911, and sure enough, that's exactly what had happened. She was on the telephone. And
the most traumatic part of the situation was that the accident was called in by her boyfriend because he was talking to her at the time of the crash and the phone goes dead. And so that was, you know, we had to deal not only with the situation at hand, but him dealing with not knowing because only hearing one half of the conversation.
You know, we were able to determine she was on the phone, and you know, that's another crash that probably wouldn't have killed her. That's a crash that wouldn't have happened, obviously, had she been paying attention to the road.
Nearly getting hit a couple of times on traffic stops at the side, that people are busy doing something with the radio or something with the cell phone and not paying attention to in front of them, and to nearly get sideswiped. In fact, this week, just walking across the street to my office, a young man nearly clipped me because he was adjusting the radio stations on the radio.
I think that the law that's currently written, where it's only applied to people less than 18 years of age, should be extended to the general public. It's an issue where even though you have more experience as a driver, whether you be 21, 25, 45, it is still just as big a distraction and can cause people to get into a situation where they might cause an accident. So I would have it to where it was extended to everybody, and secondarily I would have it as a primary reason to enforce the law. Whereas I said before, currently, just when I'm driving down the road seeing somebody talking on their cell phone, I can't use that as a reason to stop that vehicle. I would have it changed to where that would be a primary stopping reason, and I can do it.
But it's not okay to do the text messaging. You've crossed the line. And so I feel like a distracted driver is a dangerous driver, maybe equal to a drunk driver.